Guys, what a day, you will simply not believe it, because Russians got knocked out of a crucial city. One of their biggest convoys of this entire 2024 was destroyed, and also the Navy is exiled from Crimea. But more about all of this in just a couple of minutes. What's up, investors? It's the Russian dude. Let's go straight to the point and talk about some ridiculous Russian propaganda. No idea why I said it like this, but let's go with it. Today we have this guy who looks like a Z-Patriot. He's crazy, he has Putin on his car, he's holding a printed Z letter. I mean, bro, we got you, we got it. You are Z-Patriot, you like Putin. But then you can see the license plate of his car, and apparently he's not even a crazy Russian Z-Patriot. He's a crazy Bulgarian Z-Patriot. Like, Bulgaria allegedly is not that friendly to Russia right now, they're actually helping Ukrainians, but as you can see, in every country in the world there are supporters of both sides of this conflict. And I'm like, whenever the first time I saw this picture, I was like, is this a joke? Oh, by the way, speaking about jokes, we already passed April 1st, but guys, I really want to hear if you're able to bamboozle some of your friends or relatives, so please go ahead and write some of your funny April 1st stories, or whenever you got bamboozled. And also, let's create another The Russian Dude merch together, because the last time we did it, whenever we had this phrase, Russia is the second best army in Ukraine, this t-shirt was actually a pretty best seller, and once again all this was thanks to you. So let's do it once again. Go ahead and please write your funniest comment related to Russian-Ukrainian situation, and the one with the most upvotes, with the one most thumbs up, with the most likes, we will put on our next The Russian Dude t-shirt. But yeah, don't be too extraordinary, don't use too explicit words, because then my supplier will not allow me to print this on t-shirts. But yeah, once again, go ahead and be as creative as you want. It will appear on the next Russian Dude t-shirt, and the winner will get $50 gift card that you can use inside the Russian Dude store. But okay, jokes aside, literally. Now let's talk about the frontline update and Russians being exiled from Crimea and one of the biggest battles they lost recently. But first, just a couple of words about major Russian enterprises being on fire. Our first stop brings us to Ekaterinburg, where the local factory Uralvagon-Mash is on very big fire. And basically what happened, as always, Russians said that this was a self-ignition of the paint, something like this. But what they did not say is that this is pretty much the only factory in the entire Russia which produces self-propelled artillery units. Next we have a video from Moscow, where another electrical factory at this point is also producing a lot of unexplainable black smoke. And then ultimately is the video from Belgorod, which unfortunately for its residents is under attacks pretty much at this point every single day. The army is not protecting them at all. But well, that is unfortunately the karma for Russians attacking Ukraine. Well, now the tables turned. That's about it from the territory of Russia. Now let's make a quick stop in the south of Ukraine and talk about Russian Navy being literally exiled from Crimean Peninsula. But first of all, guys, as always, you don't mind, please like this video and subscribe to my channel so you can join our The Russian Dude Army, the best community on the entire YouTube. Guys, thank you so much for continuing to watch me every single day, and the ones who are not yet subscribed, more than welcome. You will see it for yourself. You will not find better community than we're having right here, right now. Thank you so much. You can also follow me on Instagram, some major live updates I'll be posting there soon. I don't want you to miss it. The link to my Instagram is down below. And so yes, as we go to the south of Ukraine, one quick stop in Kiev. As you can see, approximately 10,000 Dragon Teeth fortifications were placed to the north of this region next to the border with Russia. And then in Dnipropetrovsk you can see as well a lot of new fortifications by Ukrainians. They start appear, including 11,000 more Dragon Teeth similar defense structures, also trenches. All of them, a lot of them, I mean, are reinforced with the concrete, so these are not just like your typical dug trenches with the shovels and nothing more than this. No, these ones are actual good protection. In Novoprokopivka, which is located to the east of Robotyne, Russians attempted a pretty big assault attempt recently, and during this assault, they lost at least 10 armored vehicles of various kinds. And then right here is the video from Crimea, where yes, Ukrainians still hold a bridgehead, and Russians are kinda trying to come up with new tactics, how they can push Ukrainians out of this city or just try to scare them. And well, apparently the biggest brainstorm idea they were able to come up with is to literally put a military uniform on mannequins, put them on the boat, let them float across Dnipro river. Well, Ukrainians found out about this plan pretty much immediately, so Russians just wasted good uniform, nothing else to say. Next we have a pretty interesting compilation of Ukrainian FPV drones destroying Russian targets, which is pretty much a weekly summary of their activities. And guys, if you want to see it for yourself, the video itself is really intriguing, please go ahead and check it on my Patreon, link is down below. There is a fully uncensored version, along to the early access to these episodes of the Russian Dude, which are also fully uncensored, and this is the best way to support the channel, guys. Thank you so much. The link to my Patreon is down below. Next we go already to the Black Sea area, where Ukrainians for the very first time were able to destroy a heavy drone of Russians called Farpost. And get this, the estimated cost of only one unit is $7 million. You got this right, 7 million drone of Russians was destroyed by Ukrainians. This was a pretty bad move from the Russian side. They just wasted so much money on drone, on something which they could have been doing with way less expensive drones, but well, Ukrainians are not complaining, as they shouldn't. But this is not even the best news which we received from Crimean Peninsula, such as, for example, if you know, Ukrainians, they do have these metallic cylinders called Storm Shadow. And well, because Ukrainians are using them pretty frequently in addition to drones and any other things, well, as you already know, Russians decided to take out some of their ships from Sevastopol Bay and some other bays to the south of Crimea, and they relocated them mainly to Novorossiysk. At the moment of recording this video, it is estimated that at least 60% of the entire Russian Black Sea fleet is literally exiled from Crimea. It is just non-existent there. And most importantly, at this very moment, it is estimated that only one ship which is capable of launching missile cylinders called Caliber is still in Crimean waters, in the Black Sea next to Crimea. Well, maybe not for long, Ukrainians might destroy it as well, or they will remove it to Novorossiysk, Russians, in the near future as well. And just to give you an idea how impactful and how major this news is, in 2023 Russians were able to launch several hundred metallic cylinders, but in 2024 it was only 8 of them. 3 were launched in January and 5 launched in February. So as you can see, the impact of Ukrainians hunting down Russian Black Sea fleet is immeasurable. And pretty much yes, just like mentioned previously, the majority of this Russian Black Sea fleet went all the way to Novorossiysk, located to the east of Crimean Peninsula, and Russians decided to even protect this bay as well, according to this report by the British intelligence and according to satellite images which they also provided. And the way they decided to protect the bay is by literally putting, I would say, scrap metal barges, like these big ships which are maybe out of commission already, decommissioned ships. Literally they just place them on the entrance of the bay to protect themselves from Ukrainian naval drones such as Sea Baby and Mamai. Now we quickly switch our attention to the east of Ukraine before we can end this video. And first of all, in Terny, to the west of the settlement, Russians attempted an assault, and Ukrainians were able to repel it, destroying at least 3 armored vehicles of Russians. And then there is a next crucial city which Russians are targeting right now, to the west of Bakhmut, and this city, you might have heard about it already, is called Chasiv Yar. One of the main reasons, I would say the main reason why Russians are targeting this specific city, it is because geographically it is located a little bit higher, which allows those people, those soldiers who control it, to observe surrounding area obviously much better, because you are on the high ground, right? So Russians allegedly and reportedly, some of them, small individual units, were even able to approach the outskirts of the city or even enter this crucial city. But at the moment of recording this video, Ukrainians were able to push them out, to knock them out of Chasiv Yar, which is extremely important as we speak right now. Ukrainians controlling Chasiv Yar right now, so they can see the relocations, the movements of the Russian forces Once again, Russians attempted to capture it, but they got knocked out of very important city, and this is huge. Speaking about Bakhmut area, right here is yet another video from Ivanovsky, and as you can see, even more armored vehicles of Russians were decommissioned as a result of their failed assault attempts. But wait, there is more. Closer to Donetsk region, in Novoselivka, Druha, Russians also tried to advance to the west. Well, it was unsuccessful as well, and 2 more vehicles were deconstructed. And ultimately, as we're stopping in already Avdiivka frontline, as you can see from this video, a Russian self-propelled 155mm artillery system called Paladin was destroyed successfully by Ukrainians, which is a pretty big thing, because if you remember in the beginning of this video, we did talk about this factory in Yekaterinburg, which is responsible for producing self-propelled artillery systems. So these losses for Russians are right now, they hurt way more than before. But without a doubt, the biggest assault attempt by Russians happened across Avdiivka frontline next to Toninke, this small settlement to the west of this city. And long story short, Russians brought entire convoy of military vehicles, which include 36 tanks and 12 infantry fighting vehicles, so almost 50 of them, at least according to this video. And guess what? This attempt with so many vehicles, with so many assistants, with the infantry, was unsuccessful completely as well. Besides this, obviously they were not able to advance any single meter, but besides this, Ukrainians were also able to decommission 12 tanks and at least 8 infantry fighting vehicles, which is a massive loss. One of the biggest, no, it is the biggest loss in one single assault attempt by Russians in the entire 2024. Once again, to recap everything, this was a pretty successful several last days for Ukrainians. Russia is on fire, Russian Z Navy is exiled from Crimea, Russian soldiers were knocked out of a crucial city, and a very big convoy was mostly destroyed. What a day, guys, what a day. Guys, please subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this in the future. I'm making them every single day. Don't forget about our merch, and don't forget about April competition that write down the best joke you have, and it will appear in one of our next t-shirts. Also, go ahead and check my Patreon, where you can see fully uncensored episodes and hundreds of extra footage every single week. Thanks so much for watching, and see you tomorrow.